Good morning, everyone. It's Stuart Wall again. Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a quick video today talking about marijuana and firearms, particularly marijuana in California. Obviously, as a result of voter initiative, marijuana is generally legal for personal use and consumption. We do, however, as a result of that, do get a lot of questions still on what that means for people who either currently own and possess firearms, as well as those people looking to purchase or acquire firearms. Wanted to talk today specifically about some considerations, some issues that come up quite frequently as a result of that. As a result of a Ninth Circuit case, there is actually some guidance on this issue, particularly having to do with people that possess what you can call sort of marijuana cards, i.e., at least in California, those sort of cards that prior to the laws changing, if you were using marijuana for medical purposes, sort of like pain relief or whatever, there was a question that came up, well, if I have, if I use marijuana for that purpose, am I quote-unquote an unlawful user of a controlled substance, at least in the eyes of federal law? And this Ninth Circuit decision made clear that, yes, indeed, you still are considered an unlawful user. And the reason for that is because even though it might be lawful under state law, this is where federal law comes into play again, where under federal law, marijuana is still considered a controlled substance, at least for the time being. Obviously, there's been some talk and some push, at least at the federal level, to change that. I really have not seen that happen. I think there's been a lot of pushback on various sides of the aisle for various reasons. There hasn't been really what I would consider a substantial push to legalize marijuana at the federal level, at least not yet. But we might see that at some point in our lifetime. Who knows? But so for the bottom line, for the time being, whenever you go to purchase a firearm, at least under 18 U.S.C. 922, the Gun Control Act, 1968, if you are an unlawful user of or addicted to a controlled substance, regardless of whether or not that controlled substance is lawful to use either for medical or personal reasons under state law, that is still a problem under federal law. So when you go to purchase a firearm, just a quick background, at least in California, you need to obviously fill out the 4473 form. But then also, if you think about it, the 4473 form is not actually used to conduct a background check, at least not here in California. The 4473 form is simply used for record-keeping purposes, generally speaking, meaning that the dealer simply holds on to that. But there are still certain requirements that the dealer must abide by when completing that form. One of which is if you answer yes to any of the dozen or so questions on the form, that you're either a felon, that you've been committed to a mental institution, or, in the case of drugs, that you're an unlawful user or addicted to a controlled substance, the dealer is prohibited under federal law from transferring that firearm to you. And recently the federal form, the 4473 form, was amended to expressly address this issue, because a number of states obviously now have changed their state laws to allow personal use of marijuana, including California. And so on the 4473 form, if you look at the actual instructions on the form, the FAQs, they specifically mention marijuana now as being a controlled substance. And so then the question becomes, well, what does it mean to be an unlawful user of or addicted to said controlled substance. And that's where it gets a little trickier. So, for example, if you were convicted previously of a marijuana-related offense, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're an unlawful user or addicted to a controlled substance. That language is present tense, meaning you are currently an unlawful user of or addicted to a controlled substance. Your prior history, even though you may have been a marijuana user in the past, should not be an issue. However, at least in California, from what I've seen, and this is something that is, I think, unique to California, is that even though under California law, marijuana is not prohibited, nor does under state law it prohibit an individual from owning or possessing firearms if they're convicted of a marijuana-related offense. What DOJ does, at least the California Department of Justice, is if you are convicted of a marijuana-related offense, they have a sort of quasi-policy that says that, or that basically in effect what it does is that for the year immediately following any marijuana-related offense or any drug-related offense, they consider you an unlawful user or addicted to a controlled substance in the eyes of federal law. That is a pure policy position that the California Department of Justice has taken. Like I said, there is no basis for it in either law or regulation. But nevertheless, it is something to be concerned with if, for example, you were just recently convicted of a drug-related offense and you're attempting to purchase a firearm. You might truthfully state on the 4473 form that you are no longer an unlawful user or addicted to said controlled substance that you were convicted of. However, if your conviction was within the past year, the California Department of Justice, upon seeing that, might very well deny your firearm purchase and say you're denied because we consider you to be an unlawful user and or addicted to said controlled substance. So something to be concerned about if, like I said, you do have a prior conviction that's more recent. But as I said, beyond that or absent that, just because you had a prior drug-related conviction does not mean that you should be considered prohibited. And so if you have questions on, marijuana in general, I'd encourage you to give us a call. We do have an attorney in the office that handles marijuana issues, both for businesses, licensing, things like that. And so we do have someone that can help you if you do have questions on, for example, if you want to set up a business or we get like a licensed dispensary, a licensed grow facility, things like that. That is something that we can help you with. So feel free to give us a call. And also, if you have questions regarding any marijuana drug-related issues, prior drug history, things like that, feel free to give us a call. And you're interested in buying a firearm, like I said, feel free to give us a call. We'll be happy to help you out. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here. Have the road pretty much to myself. A little cold, a little on the chilly side, but not too bad. See you at the next ride.